Go ahead, Pete.
Jack, you played safety in high school. I don't know how comfortable that role was for you today, but just like, what were the keys to it? What was sort of your reaction when the coaches were like, hey, we need to cross-train at yet another position?
I was excited. Like you said, I played this in high school, and it was a lot of fun. And when you get to play triple option teams, that safety gets the opportunity to be in on a lot of plays. So I was really excited about it. Felt pretty comfortable. I've been cross-training at different positions, so it was just another week for me. And then the keys were just eye discipline and knowing your role, knowing your job, and making sure that you were at where you're supposed to be. Because that's for any position against this offense. If one guy's out of position, they can be very explosive.
Coach Kelly was in here, talked about communication, had to get a lot better from maybe last week or previous weeks. What was better about it tonight? Why do you think it improved?
I think guys just on the field had a sense of urgency to communicate across the board, whether that's linebackers to D-line or safeties to corners or vice versa. And, from pre-snap communication to during the snap communication, we did an unbelievable job. Everybody was on the same page. Really proud of everybody for, having that emphasis and then coming out and executing the communication part of things.
You play an offense that's basically 180 degrees from this next week. So I was interested, what can you take out of today that's replicable, and what just sort of gets left behind because it's Navy?
I think the discipline is the big thing. You have to be disciplined in everything you do. That was a big concern of ours heading into the week. And then having the grit and toughness to come out here and compete every single snap. And, we did that this week in practice. This week was a very gritty week in practice, very tough, uncomfortable at times. And I think we got to do that heading into next week and only get better.
We'll go to Ken here on your left in the middle.
Jack, could you talk a little bit about, this week there's been a lot of attention in the local media about Chase Ketter running the scout offense for you guys and him being an option quarterback. How much does that help the defense knowing that you have a quarterback on the scout team that knows the option game as well as he does? And how much do you think the looks that he gave you really helped the defense today?
First off, did anybody see Chase's tackle on kickoff?
Yes.
That was pretty sweet to see. For him to put a long, hard work weekend and then get out there and get on the field and make a tackle is pretty special. But you're right. He gave us a great look. Pretty athletic dude, very shifty. We had to make sure that our lanes were filled. Everybody was doing their job and was disciplined in the run fits, and that helped our defense tremendously.
You were talking about how difficult at times practice was this week. Was it because he made it difficult with him running the scout team offense?
It was everybody. Our scout team offense, that offensive line brought it up a level, and they were coming at us, and just everybody took it to the next level, and it was really awesome. Everybody got better from it, and we got to do it moving forward too.
Go to Angelo right in the front.
Jack, is it harder going from USC, UNC to Navy, or going from Navy to Virginia, do you feel like? Do you think which way of going back and forth to the option do you feel might be more difficult?
I don't think one's harder than the other. I think every week you have to know that you're going to come in, there's going to be a new game plan, and you're going to have to put your time in and really make sure you have the X's and O's down. And so this week was something that you rarely see, right? But we were able to do it, and through our process, we were able to have discipline and make sure everybody knew their assignments. And now we're going to have to do a 180 flip. But I think the guys are ready for it, and we can't look at it like, oh, this is definitely going to be harder or anything. No, it's like every week's the same as long as we follow our process and make sure that our routine of preparation is the same.
What's your assessment of where the defense is at as a whole throughout this season, which has certainly had its ups and downs?
I mean, we're on that continuous process of of improvement. And one thing you can see that, when we have energy and we're out there playing hard, we can be the best defense in the country. But it's those times when guys get a little quiet and get down on ourselves. That's when, we got to pick each other up. We got to keep that energy going. And the thing is, effort and enthusiasm is not going to be a question. That's non-debatable on our defense. It's just making sure that, everybody does their job and is disciplined, that, and we can be a very dominant defense at times.
We'll go to John on your right.
Jack, thanks. You referenced there were some uncomfortable moments on the practice field this past week. Was that uncomfortable in communication, uncomfortable in what ways, and how are you guys now better for those moments?
I mean, I think the tension between the defense and the scout team. The scout team was taking pride. If they ripped one on us, they were hooting and hollering. And then, the defense was all right, we got to go. If they're doing it on this, this can't happen. And then Coach Free went over on the scout team side and was running the scout team, and he was getting on us too. You know, he was letting us hear it. And so that tension between the two, like, you love to see it as a competitor. And it was a super fun environment, and it made everybody better.
Go to Patrick Engel next.
Jack, with Kurt, I imagine in prepping for the option that you guys know, like the nose tackle has to be active, but what did you see from him today in that kind of lift and early tone, I guess, that he set for you guys?
I mean, he was so dominant today, but that's just the type of guy. He's such a gritty guy. He's a leader for us, a captain, and energy. And he had a great game today, and just every play, like, he was a force to be reckoned with, and can't speak highly enough about him.
What does he mean to the defense as a whole? I mean, I know this is kind of the first game where it's like everybody's really easy to notice him, but I imagine that's not an outlier when you look back at the entire year or what he's like in practice.
Yeah, I mean, just everything about him. And, like, we were watching film last week of North Carolina, and there was a play where they threw the ball into the flat and then turned it up the sideline. And Kurt Hinish came from, 15 yards and ran that ball down and made the tackle. At his size, playing his amount of snaps, like taking on double teams every time. His ability just to push through all that, be tough, and compete, the ultimate competitor, like, that's what you want in a captain, and we have him, fortunately. I don't want to play against him, let me tell you that.